Thank you guys for joining us. I have an amazing guest with me. This is Gayle Novak. She is a wife, a mother of 4. She is a life coach for inner healing. She helps so many people. She is a cancer survivor. And that's why I wanted to have her on here with us, because she's going to share her story and she is going to bring hope. So Gayle, thank you so much for doing this. It's cold here in Texas. I don't understand why we're bundled up. My hands are like ice. You've got the right idea. You're bundled up.
It's freezing. So yeah,
guys,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want you guys to share this video, please, because there's so many people that go through this and they don't know where to turn. They don't have people that they can confide in and trust in. And this is going to be able to help change someone's life. So please share this video. Gayle, thank you. And let's get started. I want you to share from the beginning, from the actual diagnosis, what was going on.
Okay. Well, my mom had breast cancer when I was 19. And then she had it again later when I was like 36 or something. And so I was always aware of breast cancer in my life. And I ended up I felt like I was supposed to have a mammogram. I went for a mammogram, and 6 hours later, on November 10th in 2010, they had done a biopsy right then during the mammogram. So I spent the day at the clinic, and I felt in my spirit that it was actually cancer. And so I got a phone call the next morning, and the doctor said it is cancer. And God had already prepared my heart. I knew that it was, I had breast cancer, and that they had found a growth. And so I prayed and sought counsel and researched and read every article and interviewed doctors and surgeons. And at that time, I felt like my best decision was to go the medical route, which is not what I would do now. But in that time frame, I did that. And I got a double mastectomy in December of 2010, and they put in expanders. So I had a back-to-back surgery with the plastic surgeon, or the doctor that removed my breasts, and then the plastic surgeon that reformed and put in the implants, or no, not the implants, the expanders underneath my pectoral muscles. And it was really hard. I really went into a grieving time of losing my breasts. They were a huge part of my life, a huge part of my sexuality, a huge part of my motherhood. I nursed my 4 babies, a huge part of my physical appearance. I had an eating disorder as a teenager and early college girl. So I had kind of struggled with body image issues a lot of my life. And just to lose a part of that, I thought, am I losing my femininity? Is this going to change my sex life? I was done having children, but I grieved the loss of my breasts. And fast forward another month, I decided to do chemo, and did chemo a lot of 2011. And when we were done with the chemo, then we decided that it was the time then with the plastic surgeon to remove the expanders and do the final surgery of putting in the implants. And I spent the rest of that year really foggy, really sick, didn't feel well. I'm a highly sensitive person, but chemo just took me out, just wiped me out. And I had chemo brain, everyone said, and I was very highly sensitive, and I couldn't handle loud noise. I couldn't go to church. The worship music was too loud. Couldn't have a radio playing and someone talking to me. I was like hot sensory.
Gosh, okay.
I had sensory overload. And that took a couple of years to heal from. And I did a double mastectomy, even though the cancer was found in one breast, because I thought it would bring me peace. I thought it'd be like, I'm just going to take care of this. And in hindsight, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have made those choices. So fast forward a couple of years,
Well,
lots of
we met
stress.
during that time, right?
Yes, we met in like 2013, 2014.
Yes, because
Yes.
you were coming in for lymphatic therapy because
Yep.
you were thinking, okay, I need to, I've got all this stuff going on.
Yep.
What can we do? The lymphatic system is the immune system, so let's
Yes.
get going.
Yes. Yep. So I met you at a different office, and I was like doing detoxes and changed my diet and was doing different treatments and all different therapies and worked with you, and I didn't feel better.
No, it was,
No.
we were trying to figure this out. We could not figure this out. We're
Yep.
like, we're doing everything. I
Mhm.
remember watching you eating just like salads and
Yeah.
soups and like
Nothing. Like so strict.
so very strict. I'm like, this woman is so much better than me because she can do this, and there's no way I could do that.
It was hard. It was not sustainable for sure how I was doing it, but I wasn't getting relief, and I was feeling very depleted. And eventually, I changed ideas of maybe what I should try next, because you're kind of like, what do I do? What do I try? How do I detox? Is it heavy metals? Is it this? Is it that? And then fast forward, I don't know exactly when it was, but I was on Facebook and I saw that you had posted a video, which I hope you share with the audience again, of a woman who discussed the fact that she had breast implants and they were making her sick. Is that correct? Is that how it came down?
Yes,
Okay.
she was gray. Her color was gray.
Yes. And I had felt in my spirit, like, get your implants out. Like, get the amalgams out of your mouth. Consider taking out the titanium implant you have in your mouth and get your breast implants out. And you kind of go, oh my gosh, so expensive. It's so traumatic. I won't have breasts. I won't have a tooth. I mean, like, I don't know if I can do this. And so when I saw that video, I went to the website that the woman had referred to on the Facebook post that you put out, and found that I wasn't alone in the symptoms I was having. And it was breast implant illness groups, and I'm on some with Facebook and some with Instagram. And I started reading the stories. And I was like, oh, I have all the same symptoms. They go undiagnosed. There's no blood work for it. They think you're crazy. The doctors want to put you on antidepressants. The plastic surgeons, most of them deny that breast implant illness is a real thing. And I looked at what's in a breast implant, saline and silicone. And they both can leach, and they both can wreak havoc in your body, and they can cause autoimmune. And there was a list of like 45 symptoms, and I think I had 38 of them.
You texted me and you said, oh my God, I think I have all these symptoms.
Yes. I mean, I think there literally was just a few that I didn't have. But I was so numb. I was achy. I had no libido. I was depressed. My color was horrible. My skin changed. I looked 20 years older. I gained weight. Everything hurt. My eyes, they looked like I had pink eye every day. I was having constant headaches. I was having digestive issues. Every ligament hurt. I mean, it was like, and everybody has different array of symptoms. So I'm not saying you have to have all of the symptoms to have breast implant illness. And some women get it quickly. Like upon putting in the implants, their bodies, they'll break out in hives, or they'll be in tremendous pain, or their incisions never heal. Or there's women that have had them for 20 years. They go in to get them replaced, because you actually are supposed to get them replaced because they have a short shelf life.
Every 10 years, actually, yes.
Okay, and most women on the site were never told that you're supposed to have them. So you have to go through a surgery again every 10 years. And then they put in the newer ones and they get sick immediately. And there's a new cancer with the textured implants called BIAACL, which is a new form of lymphoma caused by the textured implants. So these women's in these group, and there's advocates in this group that are fighting the FDA and going to Washington and going against the grain of what they say is healthy, and trying to get warning labels put on these, or that the doctors actually have to have women read and know that there are potential warnings. And if I had known that I was going to be putting something in my body that would steal my life and steal my energy and steal my relationships and my finances, I never would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the choice that they give you is, they don't even talk about going flat. Now they do more so, but 10 years ago they didn't. It wasn't even considered. It was like a lumpectomy or a mastectomy and we'll give you an implant. And I was like, well, I'll take two so they match. I mean, it was,
Right.
I didn't know what I was doing. And then I said, you know what? I have been through so much, and I've done so much inner healing through cancer, through marriage struggles, through life, that I was like, I am still who I am, even if I go flat.
Yes.
Even if I don't have my breasts don't define me. I'm still a woman. I'm still vibrant. I'm a mother. I can still be sexual. I can still be fun, and I can have my life back and not have the first set try to kill me, the second set try to kill me, and get my health back and get my energy back and my vitality back. And so I researched surgeons, interviewed a bunch of surgeons, and some of them, well, this group I belong to went from 30,000 women from around the world to, now they're over 100,000 women on the group.
Wow, are you
Yes.
kidding me?
100,000 women are in the group or more. I don't check it all the time.
Oh,
They post pictures, they post their stories, they get encouragement, they have tons of resources and files and doctors that have already been vetted, that believe the women, that are great surgeons, that treat them with care. It's crazy because it's most of the time not covered by insurance.
oh, of course
Because
not.
it's a cosmetic change, and these women are so ill. And so I finally picked a doctor, decided to do it, prepared myself, as much as I could mentally and spiritually and emotionally. And I said, I want to go flat. I need to go flat. And I just want them out, but I want to make sure you go in and clean out all of it, because they need to go in. It's a very hard surgery, because when you have an implant, your body starts to encapsulate it and form a capsule around it, which looks like, well, in the pictures, it looks like a red pocket that they take out. And you want the surgeon that's actually going to go in and properly cut it out and remove it without puncturing, draining any of the liquid or silicone, or any of the toxins or bacteria and all the yucky stuff. And you want them to take it out whole as possible, and then go in and clean everything out. And some don't want that responsibility because it's close to your lungs. They don't want to have any, cause any damage. But there are some surgeons that can do it and that are willing. And they're in this resource, in this list on this Facebook group, which you could maybe post below this. But I was so encouraged because I didn't feel alone and I didn't feel crazy anymore. And I had gone back to my plastic surgeon because I was having a lot of pain. Well, the pain, part of it is from the contraction, because it starts to squeeze and get smaller in the muscle, and it starts to you start to kind of like your shoulders can come in and it can pull. And excuse me. And he was like, well, we'll just take them out and put new ones in. And I'm like, he goes, but it'll happen again, because that's what your body does. Your body creates these pockets. And I was like, no, I'll wait. And then I found out about the surgeons that actually can do explant and repair you and try to, make it as smooth as possible. And I encourage women, if they decide to explant, to look at pictures and to find the right surgeon that believes in it and wants them to be well, and not going to force them to try to put another pair in because they'll be so depressed. And if they don't have their breasts. And after seeing, you just get like, I spent hours looking at the before and after pictures of women's faces, of their hands, of their eyes, of their coloring, of everything, and their shapes. And you're just like, they come back to life. They literally come back to life.
Yes. You come back. It's like you were dying, and then all of a sudden, everything just comes back to life.
Yes. So I had written down my symptom list because I wanted to see what would get healed and what would feel better. And And oh, side note, whenever you start to have pain in your breast or your body doesn't feel good after you've had cancer, it's really hard to hold your thoughts captive that you don't have cancer again, that it hasn't come back and returned.
I'm glad
And in
you
the
said
middle of the night, when you can't sleep and you're stressed and you don't feel good, you're like, I'm dying. I have cancer. It's back. It's in my brain. It's in my back. It's so hard to hold that captive. So the thought I wouldn't have fear if I did a double mastectomy was actually a lie. Like that didn't actually bring me the peace that I hoped it would. And in hindsight, I wouldn't have done that now.
that. Mhm.
I wouldn't have a double mastectomy now. And I wouldn't choose chemo now. And that's not a judgment against anyone who has done that or is even choosing to do that. But for me personally, I wouldn't do that again. I would do things in a different way. I would do things more naturally, holistically, alternatively, and I would choose that route. But I didn't. So I had to process through the grief of that, and I had to forgive myself because I did the best I could with what I knew at that time.
Right.
You know, hindsight is different 10 years ago, 10 years, fast forward. So I don't want any women to feel shame of their decision. I don't want any women to walk in that they're not a whole woman if they did it or they end up explanting and that they don't have their breasts anymore. I've been reading that women that are choosing to remove their breasts with cancer, a lot of them are automatically going to flat, which I think is actually a better choice than getting the
I
implant.
agree with you
I
because
really do.
you actually sent me the pictures
Mhm.
of the implants when they
Mhm.
removed them, and I was like, oh my gosh, that
Mhm.
was in your body. It looks like, guys, the only way I can describe it, it was like black and green mold. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have any other words for
Yeah.
it.
And
And
it's
I
not what it looked like when they went in.
was like,
Mhm.
that is what was in your body.
Mhm.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
Mhm.
And so you went through this whole process of having a cancer diagnosis,
Mhm.
which is traumatic,
Mhm.
then immediately going in for surgery, and then the whole implant, and then discovering what I'm trying to make myself better. It's
Mhm.
actually making me worse.
Mhm. And I thought I had chemo brain, but I didn't have chemo brain for 7 years. I had breast implant illness brain. And it was like, oh, I just thought it was that.
Yes.
So I found pictures of great surgeries because there's some surgeons that kind of leave women messed up and scarred and lumpy and not good. And if they take the time and they really care, they can do it very smoothly and very beautifully. And like you could wear a t-shirt and you wouldn't be like self-conscious or lumpy or just horrendously scarred. And so I took a ton of pictures in. I took my family, our entourage went in to interview the different surgeons to see who would help make Gayle feel better, and fell in love with a doctor here in Dallas. And he was so kind and so compassionate, and did what I wanted him to do. And um, that day after my surgery, I felt like I could breathe a full breath. Like before that, I felt like I couldn't take a deep breath. And even that day, after having gone under, I felt like I could take a deep breath. Within a few days, my eyes looked clear. All that red, pink eye looking stuff was gone. My skin color changed. And I had joy again. It was crazy. And then a week later, I could cry. A week later, my kids said, we feel like we have our mom of our youth back. A week later, I still have drains. I'm bandaged. I had not taken pain pills in a couple of days, but I was like, I mean, I was still in jammies, and they're like, we have our mom back. We have our mom back. And so that was 2018. And I believe, I mean, the only thing I have left are like minor migraines. And I think that is from sometimes when I don't sleep, how I handle stress, or if I don't eat healthy. Um, so those are a little more my responsibility. But everything else is gone. All
Wow.
my other symptoms are gone. So
I remember working with you. You spent thousands upon thousands of dollars trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
Not to mention carrying the emotional stress from being a cancer patient with all that. And
Yep.
then we were like, oh my goodness.
What do I do?
Yes.
How do I heal? How do I get my life back?
How do you get your life?
And I was fighting against something because there was still poison in me.
Yes.
And my body was going, it was inflamed. It was like it was fight or flight all the time. It was like so triggered all the time. And it was just like, ah. And I did end up having a dental implant removed, and that actually brought some more healing. And I just wear a retainer right now until I figure out what I'm going to do with that. But I don't even know. I don't even know. And I love to walk with people through emotional healing. Like that's part of my job. And I know that there was a lot of emotions trapped in my body from my childhood, and then from cancer, and then from the breast implants and being sick, that I had to do emotional work too, to bring my, like the next layers of healing. I had to deal with the trapped emotions and where they were stuck in my body. And some of that was released through prayer. Some of that's through grief and trauma and releasing and getting it out. Some of it was through counseling and coaching. But it was like that final piece of the holistic mind, body, spirit, soul that I had to take care of.
And that's what's missing in the world. I actually just did a post about emotions and how over in Europe, there are places that say 80% of illness is actually emotion.
Yes.
So if we
And that doesn't mean you're faking it.
no.
And it doesn't mean it's psychosomatic, but it's rooted in a trapped emotion.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And
yes.
how many times we were just talking about it, emotions affect us physically.
Yes.
We're like, oh my goodness. And
Yes.
so that's why I actually put some stuff on the website about Bach flowers, because how it can help emotions, and yeah, it's helped me. And so that is one thing that you do with your life coaching. It's not just life coaching. It's going in and really getting down to the root of what is going on, and let's take care of it. Let's release those pinned up emotions, because we as women, we hold that in, right? Like you said, this is our nurturing. We nurture. And so if we don't have that anymore, and we have all this, I call it the monkey chatter going on in the head, what are we to do with it? And if we don't have someone that we can confide in, really, really confide in, it just all stores up. And so that is what you're able to do for women. You're able to really get in there and help them through their struggles, whether it's breast cancer or another kind of cancer, or, just anything, life in general.
Just trauma in general. Yeah.
Yes, that's what you do. So I want to applaud you, because, a bad situation, God can turn it out for good, right?
Absolutely.
We know that. We know He turns everything out for good. And so what you went through, you're now able to help other women go through that and be successful. So
I just want people to be well. I want them to be whole. I don't want something to stop them from living their abundant life and to fulfill their goals and purpose and their call on their life. And trapped emotions can do that. Implants can do that. Believing lies can do that. Staying in really toxic relationships and situations can do that. So anything to help people get unstuck is my heartbeat. And I just want to say one other thing about the implants that came to my mind that I think is important is some people think, well, silicone ones are bad, but saline are safe. And when you start to look at the pictures and the photographs of the saline implants that have come out of people, many of them have black mold in them. And you're like, that's in their bodies. They have black mold inside their body. So you can do all the healing and all the therapies and all the pills and supplements, and it won't do anything because there's still the reservoir of black mold in your chest. So I'm just like, oh, baby girl, get them out.
Yeah. And then so often they'll be misshapen.
Yes.
Right? You'll have, you're like, this is not what I was going for.
Exactly. And it contracts all like hard and raises up and gets all weird. And yeah. My other thing that's important for women too is if they are interested in this, or if they join the sites and do some of the research, they will see some women who have very great support systems. whether it's a spouse, a boyfriend, family of origin, kids, whatever. And there's others that don't. And it makes my heart so sad that some men will leave the women because they don't have big boobs. And I'm just like, oh, you're so much more than that.
Yes.
You're so much more than that. And so I just hope that they will feel supported by these groups, that they'll do self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll value themselves so much that they'll be like, no, I need to do this for me so I can be the best me and love well, and then decide like how they're going to handle that with that other person. But
that's a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have good support systems
mm-hmm.
through all that.
Through all of it. And my faith has gotten me through, for sure. My faith has definitely gotten me through cancer and fear and surgeries and all of that.
Yes, and that is probably number one.
Yeah, exactly. That's not an afterthought. That's
for us. It's like that's number one.
Yeah. Take two. Start off with.
Yeah, let's start with the faith part, and then.
Yeah, it's not an afterthought. He's not an afterthought. But
right.
That definitely got me through so many challenging, dark days, and gave me the discernment and wisdom and led me on the path to my healing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on here.
Thank
and guys, please share this message, because we want to be able to help as many people as possible, because there's people out there, they need hope. Yeah. And that's what we want to give. We want to give hope.
Yep.
So guys, please share this and know that we love you, and we're doing this because we care about you guys. So,
absolutely.
yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Bye.
Bye.